October 1989, East Berlin, Gethsemane Church. A group of protesters gather inside. It's the only place they're safe. Everywhere else, the state has banned large gatherings. They're here to demand the release of demonstrators. The brutal police violence has angered people across the city. Churches like this one are becoming centers of resistance, focal points of a revolution that will topple the authoritarian state. But the Stasi is watching. The Stasi, East Germany's secret police. They're writing reports on everyone in this room, recording names, taking notes. Few of the protesters realize the danger they're in. The Stasi is planning camps to imprison the ringleaders. Each district has lists of people to detain in the event of unrest. The ruling party considers itself at war with its own citizens, and the Stasi is its weapon. The prisons are bursting with political prisoners. Meanwhile, in the church, the protest grows louder, and the Stasi is there, watching. Nobody knows how far the party will go to hold on to power. The situation is a powder keg. The Stasi is cracking down hard. They keep detailed records to identify troublemakers. But it's too late. Everything is happening too fast. Even the surveillance state of East Germany can't react in time. This is the story of the brutal secret police that spied on everyone. This is the story of the Stasi. Let's go back to the beginning. 1945. World War II ends. Germany is divided into occupation zones. The Soviet Union controls the eastern zone, and the Soviets immediately begin building a security apparatus. On February 8, 1950, 4 months after the establishment of the German Democratic Republic, the East German legislature passes a law creating the Ministry for State Security, the Stasi. It's modeled after the Soviet KGB. Its formal role isn't defined in the legislation, but everyone knows what it's for: domestic political surveillance and foreign espionage. At first, the Stasi is small. Its chief responsibilities are counterintelligence against Western agents and suppressing the last remnants of Nazism. But that changes quickly. The Stasi becomes known for kidnapping former East German officials who fled the country. Many are forcibly returned and even executed. From 1957 to 1989, the Stasi is headed by one man, Erich Mielke. He has decisive influence on its development. His message is clear: comrades, we must know everything. The Socialist Unity Party governs East Germany for 40 years without ever being legitimized in a democratic election. The party maintains power through a massive security apparatus, and the Stasi is the cornerstone. If you are enjoying my video so far, please consider liking it and subscribing to my channel. You can also check out my other video about the military coup that broke Chile by clicking here. Now let's continue, shall we? June 1953. An uprising breaks out in East Germany. Workers protest economic conditions and political repression. Soviet troops violently suppress the revolt. After this, the government gives the Stasi a new task: systematic surveillance and prevention of unrest in the population. Initially, it takes the form of brutal physical repression, imprisonment, torture by police and secret police. But gradually, the strategy changes. East Germany wants to improve its international image. The repression becomes more subtle. The Stasi redefines a military term, Zersetzung, decomposition or disruption. It becomes the name for their harassment tactics. The aim is to disrupt the working of groups and the lives of individuals so completely that their activism becomes ineffective or stops altogether. The strategy usually came in 3 parts. Create conflict between members by sowing discord over philosophy, politics, money, personal relationships. It didn't really matter how. Hinder and sabotage activities using infiltrators, and isolate the groups from other activists by any means necessary. The choice of tactics is based on extensive psychological profiling. The Stasi knows everything about you before they move. The invasive spying and disorientation tactics mean there are significantly fewer possibilities for civil disobedience in East Germany compared to West Germany, for example. Not until 1989 can a grassroots revolution begin. To implement these plans, the Stasi relies on informants, inoffizielle Mitarbeiter, unofficial collaborators. In activist groups, the informants are almost never Stasi or police officers. They are usually normal citizens. In a group, they are often existing group members who've been pressured, persuaded, or blackmailed into helping the Stasi. The informant's task is to detect and spy on people labeled as harmful to society. In the eyes of the regime, this includes anyone who criticizes the system or cooperates with the so-called class enemy in the West. This reasoning legitimizes the construction of the Berlin Wall in 1961. The East German government calls it the anti-fascist protection barrier against the imperialist capitalists in the West. Under Erich Mielke, the Stasi becomes a highly effective secret police organization. Within East Germany, it infiltrates every institution of society, every aspect of daily life, including intimate personal and familial relationships. It accomplishes this through its official apparatus and through a vast network of informants, people who spy on and denounce colleagues, friends, neighbors, and even family members. By 1989, the Stasi relies on 500,000 to 2 million collaborators by some estimates, as well as 100,000 regular employees. It maintains files on approximately 6 million East German citizens, more or less a third of the population. These unofficial informants spy on their friends and family, either willingly or because they're put under pressure. But what motivates those that choose to work for the regime? One reason is the feeling of having power over fellow citizens. Another is the promises made by the ministry. The job is interesting, they say. It might even allow deployments abroad. It's secure employment, especially for people struggling with their career prospects. The Stasi uses a highly detailed, institutionalized tracking system to monitor citizens from kindergarten through retirement age. Seemingly innocuous personal preferences are added to a person's file. Your taste in music, your clothing, your belief in pacifist ideals, anything that contains even a hint of possible nonconformity. More obvious deviations from state-mandated viewpoints invariably attract attention. The Stasi puts the person or group under surveillance to gather more information. For the Stasi, anything can arouse suspicion. A joke about the chairman of the state council listening to nonconformist music, receiving letters with stamps from the West, even asking for a visitor's permit to enter West Germany is suspicious. Stasi officials spy on people by reading their mail, wiretapping their calls, illegally entering their apartments. They intimidate people and spread rumors to discredit them, that they're alcoholic or gay. Sometimes the Stasi even spreads lies that someone is working for the Stasi. To the East German government, the enemy is everywhere. Those deemed a threat, however small, are subject to harassment, intimidation, and imprisonment. Forced disappearances are commonplace. People are abducted by Stasi operatives to remove them from the meager protections offered by East German law. In many cases, victims of forced disappearances never return home. Individuals of particular interest are subject to invasive and unrelenting surveillance. Their daily activities tracked and reported down to the minute. Individuals associated with a person of interest, even peripherally, frequently find themselves targets as well. The informant network extends the Stasi's reach. It's incredibly valuable when someone is aware they're under surveillance and takes countermeasures to evade it. Regular people are encouraged to submit information on family members, friends, neighbors, acquaintances, and co-workers. The police rarely require any evidence beyond suspicion to launch an inquiry. The information in a person's Stasi file has a profound effect on their opportunities. They can be denied admittance to a university, turned down for a job despite perfect qualifications, solely based on what the Stasi has on them. Any type of group gathering is treated with high suspicion. Sports clubs, community youth groups, church congregations all attract the Stasi's attention. The Stasi also actively works to intercept and stop individuals planning to defect to West Germany. One of the agency's most grotesque policies is to force individuals caught trying to flee to pose for pictures detailing their intended method of escape. Would-be defectors are then subject to harsh punishments, including imprisonment and death. Nothing is trivial for the Stasi. A facility in Berlin has the job of opening and reading several thousand private letters a day. Another is full of engineers devising miniaturized surveillance devices, pinhole cameras, pea-sized microphones, and so on. When spying on a target, an agent might set up in the apartment next door, drill a hole, use a tube to spy. Night photos can be taken by triggering an array of infrared flashes concealed inside a car door when a target walks by. There are even rumors that the Stasi hangs microphones from trees in public places. In a population of 16 million, it's estimated that there was one spy for every 50 to 60 people. But the Stasi isn't just focused on domestic control. It's also responsible for foreign surveillance and intelligence gathering through its main administration for foreign intelligence. Foreign espionage activities are largely directed against the West German government and NATO. Under Markus Wolf, its chief of foreign operations for most of the Stasi's existence, the Stasi extensively penetrates West Germany's government, military, and intelligence services, including the inner circle of West German Chancellor Willy Brandt. In April 1974, a shocking discovery. Günther Guillaume, a top aide to Brandt, is an East German spy. Brandt resigns 2 weeks later. The Stasi also has links to various terrorist groups, most notably the Red Army faction of West Germany. During the 1970s and 80s, the Stasi works closely with the RAF and cooperates with Abu Nidal, Ilich Ramirez Sanchez, and the Palestine Liberation Organization. The Stasi also allows Libyan agents to use East Berlin as a base of operations for carrying out terrorist attacks in West Berlin. Following the bombing of a discotheque in West Berlin in 1986, they continue to allow Libyan agents to use East Berlin as a base of operations and a safe haven. But by the mid-1980s, cracks are beginning to show. Recruitment of informants becomes increasingly difficult. After 1986, there's a negative turnover rate of unofficial collaborators. This has a significant impact on the Stasi's ability to surveil the population during a period of growing unrest. The Stasi's job at this time is to prevent economic difficulties from becoming a political problem. They try to suppress the worst issues. They fail. 1989, the Peaceful Revolution. Citizens occupy Stasi offices and prisons throughout the country, but not before the Stasi destroys a number of documents, approximately 5% of their files, around 1 billion sheets of paper by one calculation. In the weeks before the wall falls, agents destroy as many documents as they can. Many are lost forever, but between 40 and 55 million pages are just torn up, so they are possible to piece together again. November 1989. Erich Mielke resigns in response to the rapidly changing political and social situation. The Stasi is quickly renamed the Office for National Security. They originally planned to split it into two separate organizations, but the public reaction is extremely negative. The government drops the plan and dissolves the Office for National Security in January 1990. The collapse of East Germany, the end of the Socialist Party's rule, the reunification of Germany. In January 1992, the newly unified German government makes the Stasi files public. The revelations derail political campaigns and tarnish artistic legacies. They exonerate countless citizens who were wrongly accused or imprisoned. Germans spent 3 decades piecing the torn documents back together, page by page. The Stasi was one of the most hated and feared institutions in East German history. For 40 years, it infiltrated every corner of society. It turned neighbor against neighbor, friend against friend, family member against family member. It built a surveillance state so complete, so invasive, that 1 in every 60 people was an informant. It destroyed lives, careers, and families. And when it finally collapsed in 1989, it left behind millions of files, evidence of a state that spied on its citizens in every aspect of their lives. Thanks for watching this video about the Stasi. If you enjoyed, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. You can also check out other videos I've done, for example this one about the secret organization that overthrew Korea's president. You can also consider subscribing to my Patreon if you want to support me. See you in my next video.